Everybody's arguing about Shedeur Sanders versus Deshaun Watson right now. And look, I get it, that quarterback battle in Cleveland has been the story of the entire offseason. But what if I told you that battle might not even matter? What if the guy who's actually going to save this Browns franchise hasn't even been drafted yet? That's not me talking. That's coming straight from one of the most plugged-in NFL insiders in the business, and it's about to change how you think about everything happening in Cleveland right now. Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated just dropped a take that's honestly a little brutal if you're a Browns fan desperate for answers at quarterback. He basically said, forget the Shedeur versus Watson debate for a second. The real story, the thing that actually determines whether this franchise turns things around, is a completely different group of players. Breer pointed to guys like Carson Schwesinger, Mason Graham, Fannin Jr, Quinshon Judkins, Sampson, KC Concepcion, Spencer Fano, Denzel Boston, and Austin Barber. According to Breer, how that core develops matters more to the fate of the current regime than whoever wins the quarterback job this summer. And buried in there is the real gut punch. He thinks there's a real chance the quarterback who actually leads this team in 2027 isn't even on the roster today. Let that sink in for a second. While everyone's been glued to every single practice rep between Watson and Sanders, the guy calling plays from the SI Insider chair is telling you the quarterback conversation you're obsessing over right now might be a placeholder story. So how did we even get here? You have to rewind to the trade that a lot of people still don't fully appreciate. Cleveland had the number 2 overall pick in the 2025 draft, and instead of using it themselves, they shipped it off to Jacksonville, who turned around and grabbed two-way phenom Travis Hunter. At the time, plenty of fans were furious watching a generational talent walk out the door. But that trade is exactly why the Browns are sitting on the kind of young core Breer is now raving about. And it's not just potential either. This group is already producing. Schwesinger, who Cleveland took with the 33rd overall pick in that same draft, didn't just have a solid rookie year. He was named the AP NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year after leading every single rookie in the league in tackles and tackles for loss. That's not a hype pick. That's a guy who showed up and dominated from day one. Then you've got Fannin, who led the entire Browns roster, not just rookies, in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdown catches during his first NFL season. And Judkins is already looking like the long-term answer at running back for this franchise. This isn't a rebuilding project anymore. This is a young core that's already winning individual battles on Sundays. Cleveland didn't stop there either. This year's draft class added even more pieces to the puzzle, with their first 3 picks going toward Fano, who's expected to man the left tackle spot, plus receivers Boston and Concepcion. So you're talking about a roster that's stacking talent on both sides of the ball year after year, almost like they are building towards something specific. And according to Breer, that something specific is a future quarterback they haven't even landed yet. Here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't the first time Breer has made this argument. After the Myles Garrett trade went down, he pointed out that Cleveland is now holding 2 first-round picks in 2027, 2 second-round picks in 2028, and 2 third-round picks in 2029. That is an absurd amount of draft ammunition. And in a league where finding a franchise quarterback is basically the whole game, that kind of draft capital gives the Browns serious flexibility. They could sit back and let this draft class come to them, or they could package picks together and go get their guy, especially with next year's quarterback class getting a lot of buzz around the league. Breer's exact reasoning is pretty simple when you break it down. If the Browns' true quarterback of the future isn't currently on the roster, then it actually makes sense that Cleveland is building out all this infrastructure now so that whoever that quarterback ends up being has a support system already in place the moment they arrive. Think about that for a second. Instead of throwing a rookie quarterback into a rebuilding roster with no weapons and no offensive line, Cleveland could be setting the table so their future guy walks into a situation that's already stacked with playmakers and a defense that's already producing stars. Now, none of this means the quarterback competition happening right now doesn't matter, because it absolutely still does for this season. Watson is entering the final year of his contract, and everybody remembers the price tag on that deal, 3 first-round picks and a fully guaranteed $230 million, for a player who's made just 19 starts since arriving back in 2022. That's a number that's impossible to ignore no matter how you feel about him as a player. Meanwhile, Sanders, who Cleveland landed all the way in the 5th round of the 2025 draft, took over as the starter in Week 12 of his rookie season and finished with 1,400 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, including a 4-touchdown outing against Tennessee that had people talking. The two of them have been splitting representatives all offseason, and that competition is expected to roll right through training camp and the preseason before Cleveland makes a real decision. Dillon Gabriel and 6th-round rookie Taylon Green round out that quarterback room, but neither one is expected to be part of the actual starting conversation. So where does that leave the Browns? You've got a real quarterback battle happening in real time, but according to one of the most respected insiders in football, the outcome of that battle might just be a bridge to something bigger. Cleveland has quietly built a young core that's already producing individual award winners and offensive leaders, and they are sitting on a mountain of future draft capital that could let them go get their guy whenever they decide the timing is right. Whether that means Shedeur Sanders grows into the long-term answer, or Cleveland goes searching for someone else entirely down the road, one thing seems clear. This front office is playing a much longer game than the quarterback competition making headlines this summer.